God of Rock successfully combines a combat game in the style of Street Fighter and a rhythm game in the style of Guitar Hero. A feat that appears impossible on paper, but the game not only works, but also entertains. Obviously, a title like this cannot be taken seriously, and thankfully, God of Rock is aware of how ridiculous its initial concept is and embraces it wholeheartedly. This game, created by Modus Studios, has the visual setting of a 2D fighting game, complete with 2 characters' health bars, announcer, and special moves. However, in the lower part of the screen, there are 2 tracks that culminate in the 4 controller buttons and on which Guitar Hero-style notes appear. Your character launches a punch or kick with each note played, and if both players hit the right note at the right time, the 2 hits cancel each other out. If you miss an order, your opponent will have an opportunity to strike you. Combos are essential in a fighting game, and God of Rock has many of them. Because the standard for controller buttons are filled by notes, special attacks are dialed in using the left stick in conjunction with the shoulder pads and triggers. To play, you must use a controller, as previously stated, and we will try to explain why this truly unusual title deserves a chance by telling you about our test of the God of Rock demo, which will be available during the next Steam Next Fest. The narrative premise of God of Rock is as outrageous as its gameplay. The God of Rock has resurrected some of the greatest musicians of all time to crown a new champion, and you will experience a story mode, not shown in the demo, that follows your avatar's ascension to Olympus of Rock. However, in the demo of the upcoming Steam Next Fest, you will only get the training mode to try out the different combatants and 40 songs available. One of the most amusing parts of this game is that, in addition to skill, you must have a good amount of stamina because bouts do not have a timer and continue until one of the 2 contestants is KO. The song is likewise intended to have no ending and to get increasingly complex. Training has 4 difficulty levels: easy, medium, hard, and God of Rock, with the second becoming available after the first bouts. The most difficult challenge is having to divide the brain in 2 to manage the notes arriving on the track on the one hand and the special attacks used to deal more harm to the opponent on the other. These are initiated by entering a series of directional inputs using the controller's arrows, or left analog, in conjunction with triggers and backbones, with the goal of adding notes to the opponent's track to increase its chances of being incorrect. The more mistakes your opponent makes, the better your chances of knocking him on the head with your notes. The special maneuvers, like the Guitar Hero multiplier, have 3 power levels that can be attained by playing a more or less extended run of notes without errors. If this system appears complicated, it is because it is. It takes a lot of practice to play and beat simultaneously. The God of Rock demo has 7 fighters and 7 stages, each with a track list that suits the setting's concept. Metal-inspired music may be found in the Inferno site, Japanese arcade techno at the TV station, and Viking rhythms and noises near Lake Aurora. There are 40 original songs in all, and a level builder allows you to match non-default music and levels, as well as alter the sequence of notes that land on the track. The combination of chosen hero and stage then determines how each song is divided into notes to be performed and the effect of special attacks on the opponent's track to produce the most varied experience possible. The fighters available in the demo are 7, but Modus claims that there will be at least 12 accessible upon launch. However, due to copyright concerns, it is not always evident whose music legend inspired the design of some figures. Tofat's motions are graceful and sophisticated, creating an electro-swing atmosphere. David Bowie has influenced Ziggy. Johann is a gigantic combatant with a robotic arm and a German accent. Is this a bizarre reworking of the composer Bach from the 18th century? Kosaku's attire and dance are reminiscent of medieval Japan, although it is unclear whose music legend he is referring to. Hilda is an exquisite young lady with a Nordic accent and white hair, whereas King is definitely influenced by Elvis Presley. Rosetta, a street artist possibly inspired by Whitney Houston, rounds out the roster. The rhythmic gameplay of God of Rock is largely the same for all characters, and it is in the special moves that each fighter's uniqueness emerges. Unfortunately, Using charged strikes in combat takes a lot of practice, so be prepared for the first few hours where there appears to be no difference between one hero and another. However, after this initial barrier is passed, the game comes to life and the battles become authentic and furious.